3,600 years ago, a paradise vanished from the face of the earth. Not slowly, not over centuries. In a single afternoon, it was gone. An island so advanced, so wealthy, so connected to the ancient world, that when it disappeared, the memory haunted civilization for 1,000 years. Plato called it Atlantis. What he was actually describing was this. It is 1600 BCE, and the Aegean Sea is the center of the civilized world. Egypt has pyramids. The Hittites control Anatolia. And on the islands of the Aegean, a civilization unlike any other has taken root. The Minoans. They left no legends, no epics, no king lists, only their art, their buildings, and their silence. And yet, by every measure, they were the most sophisticated people in the Bronze Age world. Their palace at Knossos covered 2.5 acres. It had running water, flush toilets, and light wells designed to cool the rooms. They were building indoor plumbing while Rome was a mud hut. Minoan trade networks stretched from Egypt to the Levant to mainland Greece. Their artists painted with a confidence that wouldn't be matched in Europe for another 3,000 years. And at the center of their world sat the island of Thera, a volcanic island 60 kilometers north of Crete. Its harbor was sheltered and deep. Its soil was volcanic, extraordinarily fertile. The town of Akrotiri sat on its southern coast, wealthy, cosmopolitan, alive. Its buildings rose 3 stories. Its windows looked out over the sea. Inside, the walls were covered floor to ceiling in frescoes. Spring landscapes, leaping dolphins, boxers, fishermen, scenes from a life that was full and warm and not afraid. These were people who loved beauty, who had figured out so much of what makes life worth living, and who had, perhaps, felt safe. They shouldn't have. Beneath the island, the magma chamber had been filling for centuries. By around 1620 BCE, the pressure had become intolerable. There were earthquakes first. Archaeologists found the evidence buried in the ruins at Akrotiri, buildings already repaired, cracks filled, walls shored up, before the final disaster. The people of Thera knew the ground was unstable, and they left. No human remains have ever been found at Akrotiri, not one. They had time, just enough, families with their most valuable belongings, merchants with their finest goods. They sailed away, to Crete, to the Cyclades, to Egypt. And then the island went quiet. For weeks, maybe months. Then, the eruption began with a roar that no one alive had ever heard. A Plinian column of ash and gas punched through the atmosphere, 35 kilometers high, higher than commercial aircraft fly today. The sound traveled across the entire eastern Mediterranean. In Egypt, people stopped and looked north. In Crete, windows shattered. The eruption lasted for days. Pumice rained down across the Aegean in sheets. A layer of volcanic ash fell as far away as the Nile Delta. Ice core samples from Greenland still carry the chemical signature of this eruption. Tree rings from 1600 BCE, from Ireland to California, record a sudden cold. The eruption injected enough sulfur dioxide to cool the entire planet. Then the ash column collapsed. Pyroclastic flows, avalanches of superheated gas and rock, raced down the volcano's flanks. 800 degrees Celsius, 200 kilometers per hour. Nothing in their path survived, but the worst was still coming. The eruption had hollowed out the magma chamber beneath the island. Without its foundation, the island collapsed. The entire caldera, 12 kilometers across, dropped into the ocean. The displacement of water was almost incomprehensible. A wall of ocean surged outward in all directions. The wave hit Crete in under 30 minutes, 9 to 15 meters high, taller than a 4-story building. The northern coast of Crete, the heart of the Minoan world, was swept clean. The ash cloud blocked the sun across millions of square kilometers. Crops failed, livestock died, rivers ran grey with volcanic debris. And across the ancient world, people looked at the sky and wondered what they had done to deserve this. They had done nothing. The earth simply didn't care. The Minoan civilization did not die in a day. The eruption wounded it. The aftermath finished it. The agricultural disaster caused by volcanic winter lasted for years. Trade routes collapsed as harbor after harbor went silent. And into the vacuum came the Mycenaeans, mainland Greeks, harder-edged, less interested in art and trade, more interested in conquest. By around 1450 BCE, Knossos had fallen under Mycenaean control. Linear A, the Minoan script, disappears from the record. Within 2 generations, the Minoan language itself was gone. The most sophisticated civilization the Bronze Age had ever produced, erased. Not by invaders alone, by the earth. In Egypt, ancient records describe a period of darkness, unusual rains, and a great flood. The Ipuwer papyrus speaks of fire in the sky, rivers running red, crops failing. Some historians argue these accounts describe the aftermath of Thera. The biblical plagues of Exodus describe similar phenomena. Whether these texts describe Thera directly is contested. What isn't contested is that the Thera eruption reshaped the ancient world. Within 2 centuries, nearly every major Bronze Age civilization would collapse. The Bronze Age collapse. But that story begins here. 900 years passed. In Athens, around 360 BCE, a philosopher sat down to write. His name was Plato, and he was recording a story he said had come from Egypt. From the priests of Sais, who preserved the memories of all the world's great catastrophes. He described an island civilization of great wealth and sophistication, who had grown arrogant, who had overreached, and who, in a single day and night of misfortune, disappeared beneath the sea. For centuries, scholars searched the Atlantic Ocean. They found nothing, because they were looking in the wrong ocean. The Aegean, not the Atlantic, was where the most advanced Bronze Age civilization flourished. An island in the Aegean hosted that civilization, and that island vanished suddenly, not over time, beneath the sea. The story passed from Egypt to Greece, changed and distorted by 9 centuries of retelling. The location got wrong, the details got wrong, but the core of it, an island civilization, a catastrophe, a disappearance, was real. You can go there today. Tourists swim in the caldera. They eat dinner on the rim. They photograph the blue domes and the sea. And beneath their feet, buried under centuries of volcanic rock, lies Akrotiri, a Minoan city frozen in time by the worst catastrophe the ancient world had ever seen. Atlantis was never a myth. It was a memory. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. These videos take real research and care to bring to life. If you'd like to see more, consider subscribing. This has been Cataclysm History, and I'll see you in the next one.